match of the day. These have been traditional rivals over the last 10 years or so, Hawthorn and Essendon. Madden number 27. Lawrence, the young Queenslander, jumps straight into him and wins the first tap. Comes to Anderson. McGarry medals. Kick, not a lot of distance, a lot of height. Punch forward comes to Collins. His kick wide out towards centre wing. There's Paul Hudson applying the tackles. Proud father Peter watching in the grandstands. But the ball is out of play and we'll have a throw in. Number 47 is Paul Morrish, with the short haircut ex-Richmond player, went to Perth and now playing his first game for Essendon.
And with the Bart Simpson haircut does Paul Morrish. Free kick out of that ruck contest. It's going to be taken there for Hawthorn by Johnny Platten. Didn't see what happened there, Bernie.
Something off the ball there, Robbo. Platten was interfered with. Short
pass, he finds Tuck. What a great player Michael Tuck has been over, 20 years. And a beautiful pass finds Jarman in the right forward pocket. So an opportunity for Hawthorn to get the first goal of the game.
A superb pass from Michael Tuck, the veteran, 38 next month, and still going strong.
And this player has got some skills, but that was not one of them. A poor kick in the finish there by Jarman, and it's out of bounds on the full, so the free kick will be taken back there by Fox. Big, strong, and doesn't mind using his weight. Fox, kick in. Tuck really dispossessed Whitman. Anderson playing his 50th game for Hawthorn. The bump, was that too severe? No, the umpire has called for a bounce as Gary O'Donnell picks himself up, and what O'Donnell might have a tagging job. Bertie, has he picked up Platten or Anderson maybe?
No, Robertson looks like he's going with Platten, and he could be on Pritchard, O'Donnell.
O'Donnell has a bit of a fumble here. Anderson, well, it comes to Morrissey, who kicked 6 last week. He puts it out in front of Robber, the South Australian off the left foot. It's way off target. Well, it stays in play and run over by Jarman, and we'll have a throw in.
And Barry Robran, one of the all-time greats of AFL football, the father of young Matthew, is here at the game today with his wife, just watching the progress of his son in the Hawthorn colours.
Make that SA football, Robbo. Never played AFL.
One of the all-time greats of, well, Australian rules, should I say, Bernie?
Yes, exactly.
I stand to be corrected.
Won 3 McGarry medalists.
But what a great player he was. Izard kicks the ball out to half-back, and Morrish takes the mark for the Bombers. He's outside 50 metres, so 2 kicks away now from the Hawthorn goal, out towards centre wing. No mark taken. McGuinness at the back. Bailey the tackler. Ball comes back towards Whitman. A lovely little tap finds Mew, but a good tackle. And the tackle came from Wanganeen. The ball comes up to half forward for the Bombers. Langford tackled, but gets the kick off the ground. It goes wide to the wing. This man has got some skills, Wanganeen. Gee, when he gets the pace of this game, he's going to get the free kick now, but this player will be a sensation, I feel, in Australian football for a long time. Gavin Wanganeen, the ball at half forward for Essendon. Getting back is Pritchard. He gathers it under a little bit of difficulty. He does it well. Kicks it wide to the wing, and the mark is taken by Anderson.
Just on Harvey, who applied that tackle to Chris Langford, is feeling the pinch a bit because he was met very solidly.
Well, tied by Lawrence. The umpire paid the mark. Lawrence might be a bit lucky there. Lawrence, a youngster, up against one of the game's greats, Simon Madden. Big climb there by Robber, and can't take the mark. Fox, and eventually a hand pass by Chris Danaher goes out of bounds, and we'll have a throw-in. Danaher, one of 4 brothers who played AFL football. Of course, Terry is still out suspended, having copped 11 weeks from last year's grand final. Bombers can't wait to get him back. Deere knocks to the back. Platt, well, maybe a lucky kick. Ayres takes the mark 60 metres from goal. Played on the forward line last week, Gary Ayres, and kicked 3. Leads coming from everywhere. Ayres won't make the distance. Not a bad effort, though. Right to the goal square. Oh, what a mark! Excellent mark by Jarman. And with the lack of forwards that Hawthorn have, Dunstall out, Brereton out, this guy on the forward line could be anything.
Well, he wasn't named at full forward, Drew. Gary Ayres was, but it looks as if Darren Jarman is playing at full forward. And he's being picked up by Anthony Danaher, the regular full back, and that's a great mark, a strong chest mark.
First goal of the game to Darren Jarman.
He's had a good season, Jarman. He missed through injury last week, but has kicked 19 goals for the season. A very strong, skilled player playing across the half-forward line. As we have a look at this mark in replay, a big pack of players. And not a great effort to spoil from the Essendon defenders there.
So it's taken a little while, but Hawthorn get the first goal of the game. The ball is punched towards the Essendon half-forward area, picked up by Ayres, and under a little bit of pressure. It wasn't that brilliant football by Ayres, because he found Anderson wide on the wing. The kick towards half-forward, punched away from Robran by Fox. Now Morrissey, he's been tagged by O'Donnell. The handball goes to Deer, and a great smother by O'Donnell. Some tremendous footy already in this game. The kick towards the front of the goals for Hawthorn is marked by Simon Madden. Handballs it away. Anthony Danaher under a little bit of pressure. His kick wide is all right. It goes out in front of Anderson. Chance for that player to run onto it, collects a bump as well at the same time. Kicks it away with the right foot. Wanganeen, he's brought to the ground. A strong tackle there by Langford, but he gets up pretty quickly, Gavin Wanganeen. And for a young man, 17, he's got a great future in front of him. Boundary throw in, right half forward for the Bombers. Somerville gets the tap out, goes to Bailey. Bailey's kick across his body into the pocket. Chris Danaher taps it to his own advantage, then falls over. Ayres is back there. The two number 7s playing on each other. Jenke kicks it wide. Harvey should mark on his own. He's about 2 kicks from goal for Essendon. Plays on quickly and kicks it long into the forward pocket. And it's an Essendon mark to Kransberg. Shepherding no against Chris Danaher. The free kick will go back there to Ayres.
Hawthorn leading a goal to nothing. The kick comes wide to McGuinness. He gathers 60 metres out from his own goal. He took it over the line, said the boundary umpire. The throw in.
It was a bit stiff there, Scotty McGuinness. It was good play. Completely fooled his opponent to get around him, and must have just been over the line.
Boundary throw in. McGuinness and Somerville. Mew goes in to help. Platt dragged down and a good tackle. And the ball goes out of play for another throw in. Absolutely perfect conditions. The flags hanging limply by the flagpoles. Sunny, smoggy sort of a day in Melbourne, and the players shielding their eyes from the sun for this throw in. Somerville and Mew. Somerville wins. Pritchard didn't miss a game all of last year or this year. Into Ayres, up towards half forward. Morrissey punches on. Clever football. Hudson runs onto it. 50 metres out. Gathers well. 1-on-1 at full forward. Jarman and his man Danaher. But eventually, under some pressure, I suppose, Hudson probably thought he was under more than he was. And a kick astray out of bounds.
How about the Morrissey tap on, Bernie?
It's the team sort of play you're looking for, isn't it, Robbo? He knew he had no chance of taking the mark. Just that little flick on to Hudson.
Left forward pocket for Hawthorn. Opportunity for McMullen. He kicks it high over his left shoulder, out towards half back. Good gather Bailey, hand pass Chris Danaher. And a long kick by that player. Looks for Wanganeen, punched away by Collins. Harvey falls over, McGuinness keeps his footing. Hand pass to Anderson. Anderson's kick towards centre half forward, no mark taken. Getting back there is Fox. Left foot kick by that player, goes to half back. Good play, Pritchard, determination all over his face, and the pass is a beauty. And the mark in front of his face taken by Hudson.
Magnificent play by Pritchard.
Well, we've seen a couple of magnificent passes from Hawthorn. The first one from Michael Tuck, and Pritchard under a fair bit of pressure there to get that pass to Hudson.
Hudson from 40 metres. Lovely kick. Oh, magnificent kick, Paul Hudson. He gets his first goal, and Hawthorn get their second. 16 and a half minutes left in the first quarter. Hawks by 12 points.
Essendon doing it well so far too, Robbo. They're winning the ball well across the centre of the line, centre of the ground, and Pritchard with enormous skill. They're getting the ball to the boot very quickly. Hudson on a good lead. And look at this for a drop punt. Split the middle right from about 40 metres out.
Hawthorn have made a great start. Clatton's kick, smothered. Pritchard again. The hand pass a bit too slick for Allen. Hudson, oh, well done. A 20-metre knock up the ground. Robran in there. No whistle on the play. Flicked out. Allen gets the hand pass to Anderson. He ducks. He's caught in the tackle. Allen goes backwards to Dean Anderson. Whitman, high kick to full forward. Hudson with the sit. Got it!
Well, they got 3 votes last week, Drew. And Paul Hudson, and he started off in the same vein today. A very skilled player, has taken a little bit of time to find his feet in the Hawthorn side, and that's an excellent mark in front of Anthony Danaher, one of the best defenders playing the game.
Hudson for his second in a minute. 35 metres out. No problem. The Hawks looking awesome already.
They're looking good, and that's, of course, without their 2 best forwards, Dermot Brereton and Jason Dunstall. Have a look at Hudson take this strong mark, and Anthony Danaher may have been better served going for the punch. He tried to take the mark there, and that's not good defensive play by the Essendon fullback.
Well, they've done it well, the Hawks. They've kicked 3 straight. Getting the ball out of the centre now. Madden tries to tap it to the advantage of Robertson. It's David Robertson, the ex-Collingwood player. He's on the ball again, but Wanganeen gets the hand pass. It's chopped off by Mew. Mew's kick wide. Morrissey, who's being tagged by O'Donnell. Kick towards half forward. Robran, quite skillful in the finish by Matthew Robran. And the left foot kick into the forward pocket. Hudson at the back. Has he got it again? Well, he certainly tapped it the first time, I thought. And Birdie?
Yes, it looked like a mark to me, Robbo. It may have been just a slight touch by the Essendon defender, and you can usually tell by the player after the decision's been paid, and he never went crook at the umpire about the decision.
Good play in the finish. Tuck gets it back there towards Whitman. Whitman's kick across his right shoulder, picked up by Paul Deer, and he pops it through for Hawthorn's 4th goal. It's raining goals here for the Hawks. They've kicked 4 straight, and the Bombers, well, they haven't got past centre half forward as yet.
Well, they're missing their big players from last week. The players out injured, of course, have made a huge difference to this Essendon side. Buick out with concussion. Salmon's got a groin injury. Michael Long with ribs, and of course Shane Hurd. And these are 4 very experienced and integral players in the Essendon team.
4 goals to nothing. Hawthorn bolting away at the moment. Greg Anderson for the Bombers. Up towards half forward. Andy Collins gets back there. He's met by Watson, who's playing it full forward. It comes to Wanganeen. A snap. Offline. Bombers first score. Gavin Wanganeen, the youngest player in AFL football at 17 years of age. Alan Joyce still looking concerned. He lost only 3 games in the year Hawthorn won the premiership when he was coach in '88. Well, they've already matched that, and they need to lift a bit, Hawthorn, to be a threat again. Jenke up towards centre wing. One hand toward Fox, goes backwards with the hand pass. O'Donnell has time to steady. Gary O'Donnell, cool under pressure, gets the hand pass up. And in it comes from Bailey. Centre half forward, congested pack. Pransberg over his shoulder. Spawn takes the mark right in front. Well, this should be the Bombers' first goal. Spawn 40 metres out.
Yes, he still has to find the accuracy, though, Drew. Spawn playing on the wing on Pritchard. They found some space there. Good play from O'Donnell running the ball out of the back line. Use of handball. They nearly messed it up there with a bit of a sloppy hand pass, but it's come off and Spawn from 40 metres.
Bombers get there first. Four goals to 1-1.
Yes, well, looking at the betting at the start of the game, the Hawks was 6-4 on with sports betting bookmaker Bill Hutchison, and the Bombers were 5-4 against. So Hawthorn went into this side as favourites, and they've started that way, but I don't think Essendon can be written off because they're a very competitive side.
Kieran Spawn, the goal kicker for Essendon. 12.5 minutes left. Somerville up too early. Lawrence goes after the football again, and in well, his endeavours to get at the football interfered with Harvey, and Harvey takes the free kick. He kicks it wide. It's a little too wide, really. Simon Madden tries to tap it to his own advantage. He's underneath it. Handball comes back to Jenke. Jenke's kick is a beauty in the finish, and he finds Langford about 25 metres further afield. His short pass goes to Lawrence. Lawrence. Kicking towards half forward. Oh, great mark. Roblin.
Oh, tremendous mark, wasn't it, Robbo? He looks good, only his second game for the Hawks.
Went up a little early, breaks the tackle, goes back to Lawrence, two of the younger players for Hawthorn, up towards full forward, or Morrissey probably will be disappointed in the finish, had his hands on it, with not too many Essendon players around. Eventually Kranzberg clears, and a great mark taken by Whitman. No, it's not paid, play on, and Essendon will come clear now through Morris. Well, I thought Whitman nearly had that. The kick towards half forward, Watson, close to the boundary line, kicks it up into the forward pocket area. The race is on back here, and Collins flips it over the boundary line. He's under a bit of pressure, and the pressure was too severe. Collins will take the free kick for Hawthorn. Plays on, and he's going to come right across the field. Good pressure, and he's forced to kick it wide. Mew has made position. Getting in front there was McMullen. Essendon will get in towards full forward now through Bailey. Short pass is beautiful, and Wanganeen's on the end of it. He marks 40 metres from goal, and I still doubt whether that's good play when Collins runs straight across the face of goal to try and get a loose man.
Well, it's what coaches are doing these days, Robbo. The training is all around moving the ball from one side of the ground to the other, switching the play. But on that occasion, the kick wasn't good enough and left Chris Mew with a task.
Wanganeen goes for distance and gets distance and accuracy. Essendon second.
Gee, that's a great goal. The Bombers had no right to get the ball.
Well, it's something that players have drilled these days, Drew. They move the ball from one back pocket across the field. As we can see, Collins racing out of that back pocket, kicking across ground. It wasn't a great kick to Chris Mew, and Mew not as quick as he used to be. McMullen chipping in there, better on the ground, getting the hand pass to Bailey. So had the kick been okay, it would have been good play.
Back in the middle, and the Bombers making some sort of a comeback. Bailey out of the middle, but the mark taken by Ayres. Not playing on the forward line today like he did last week. Goes for the short one to Whitman. Hawthorn running up towards half forward. Flatten the only chance, and an excellent mark taken by Robertson, the ex-Collingwood player, spent last year in the country. Away to Kranzberg. Good pass. And the mark taken with half-back flank by Izzard. Alan Izzard to centre wing. Mark taken by Spawn. Going defensively, cornered by the veteran Tuck. Spawn's kick only to a true centre wing. Ayres backs into the pack. Can't mark, but will get the free kick against Somerville.
Terrific courage there, wasn't it, Robbo, from Gary Ayres? He knew the pack was bearing down on him.
Well, I don't think anyone's ever doubted this man. Great player for a number of years for Hawthorn.
And the character of the Hawthorn Football Club was tested last week when they went in without Dunstall, finished up for more than half a game without Brereton, and they still won the game against Carlton. And their character will be tested here again today. Mew flies for the mark. There's a shepherding free kick. It's coming back to Ayres again. Second free in a minute.
Ayres is just a little bit behind the wing. Kicks it to half forward. Another good mark taken by Robrin.
Gee, he's been impressive, hasn't he, in the air?
Tell you what, he looks good, Bernie, doesn't he?
He does.
You know, I mean, you can sometimes tell just from looks, but he's very athletic. Kick towards half forward, and it's cut off there by Harvey. And that could be 50.
Yep, should be.
Against Jarman. And in the finish, that was, well, fairly undisciplined. But I suppose it's better to give 50 metres away back there than it is forward of the centre. 50 metres really is a crucial penalty. Kicked by Harvey, drops in short, and Ayres, in his familiar role, hanging around centre-half back, Jenke. Handball over the top. They combine well in the finish, and Ayres' pass is beautiful. He finds Platten.
9 possessions to Gary Ayres.
Already very, very prominent. Platten kicks it over the wing. Up towards half forward, no mark taken. Getting back is Chris Danaher. Under pressure in the finish, he really wasn't. He put himself there. Harvey from Izzard. Back to Robertson. He's had about 3 or 4 hand passes. Gives it to Fox. And Fox kicks Essendon scrappily towards half forward. Goes through all players. O'Donnell back. Hand pass. Goes off to Bailey. Bailey, who's pretty talented off both sides. Kick towards Madden. Madden strives hard. Ayres is there and gets another kick. Out into no man's land. On centre wing. Getting back quickly is Kranzberg. Goes onto the non-preferred side, the left. The short pass, it's a fluke. Surely that was a fluke. Watson marks at half forward.
I'm sure he meant the target, but the execution might have been a fluke. Watson. Ayres has been a star in the back line. Lightning hand pass Collins to Platten, over the top to Pritchard, but he leaves it for Lawrence. Wide open for the Hawks. Lawrence to Hudson, who's been damaging early. Kick 2 already, Paul Hudson. His proud father, a legend in the game, Peter Hudson watching. Deer marks.
Well, that was a very clever lead there from Paul Deer, leading to the centre of the ground. Not the easiest place to lead to because players bearing down on him. A much improved player.
His brother Greg Deer, a premiership ruckman, out for the season. And resting on the shoulders of Paul Deer. 50 metres out. Got distance, no trouble at all. But just missed for the accuracy, and that's the Hawks. Chris Mew's gone off the ground, replaced by Madigan. Gerard Healy.
Yeah, Chris Mew has complained of a niggle in the right hamstring, and it's uncertain whether he'll be available for the rest of the day. He's sitting on the bench currently.
Well, that's bad luck for Hawthorn. A great mark taken out here at half-back by Robertson for Essendon, and he's doing pretty well early in the game. That kick has been marked by Harvey. Harvey plays on, kicks it in towards centre-half forward. Oh, there's a push out. Not paid. Oh, the Bomber fans are screaming as McGuinness goes straight down the ground and kicks it wide to half forward. Hamilton. Robran, a lovely little sneaky hand pass to Paul Deer, and Paul Deer kicks the goal. Paul Deer gets his second, and Bomber fans screaming. Hawthorn by 3 goals.
There's maybe some sort of interference in defence there against McGuinness. But it wasn't paid, so you just have to get on with the game as McGuinness did, streamed out of defence. And Robram, a very clever hand pass there. Went low, he knew he couldn't get a hand pass over the top to Paul Deer. And Paul Deer's kicked 2 goals.
Bradley Plain comes on the ground, and Simon Madden, the veteran, goes off. Here's Robertson, number 33. Clears it to Wanganeen. Great pass, Watson. Now, you'd have to guess that Tim Watson would be struggling to be 60% fit, resting on the forward line, but value. Centres to Spawn, no mark paid. Wanganeen back to Danaher. It's come unstuck for the Bombers. Wanganeen again, caught by Whitman. The umpire will ball it up.
Tremendous desperation for both sides. The Hawthorn defence very solid at the moment. Ayres, Langford, Collins, all doing well in the defence.
Big pack around this. Somerville knocks up the ground. Bailey played one of his best senior games last week. He'll get a free here, right in front.
I think what's happening with Dean Bailey, he's got a couple of games in succession, and I think his confidence is growing. Everyone knows he's got some ability, but his confidence now is attacking that football as though he really wants to stay in this Essendon team.
Well, last week in the centre, he had 30 possessions. So it's a big game. And even though the Hawks bombarded Essendon at the start of this game, the Bombers not out of this. And straight kick here will make the difference. 2 goals. Bailey's kick is good.
And there's no denying Essendon. They really have proved themselves this season. A lot of the pundits thought that they may be on the skids after last year's grand final. And it's something that Robbo has written down, a word called character, and they have plenty of that. There's no doubt about that. Because there's just about another team on the sidelines that you could play instead of the side that's out there today.
Dean Bailey, an excellent kick. The goal by Spawn, I thought, didn't even move the goal umpire, but that one was even closer, straight over the goal umpire's head. Hawthorn into attack now. Anderson, kick towards half forward, but Fox, has he got the job on Robran?
Yes, centre-half back Fox and Robran playing centre-half forward.
Well, a big ask from Brad Fox, because Robran has been quite good early in this game. Players not really doing much with it. Eventually, Ben Allen, Morrissey again, taps it wide, but comes unstuck. Picked up by Anderson. Anderson's kick is marked by Somerville. Tremendous pressure by Collins, but a good mark in the finish by Peter Somerville. Hand passes wider to Chris Danaher. He's running through the centre. The kick is a little bit ordinary, up towards half forward. Good gather by Hamilton. Hand pass looks for Spawn. He's run down beautifully. No way was he getting away from Ayres and Paul Deer. Now Hamilton again a chance. Hand pass under pressure, Somerville, and holding that player. No, it's going to Platten.
Yes, but Platten was grabbed momentarily by Robertson and threw his arms up in the air, and that's what the umpire saw.
See, they don't mess around, Hawthorn. Pritchard's away from the Platten pass, up towards half forward. Coming out as Anthony Danaher, leaves it behind. Two Hawthorn players pounce on him. He's still got the footy. Now Hamilton's hand pass goes to Harvey. Harvey coming into the game, but a poor kick by Mark Harvey, and the mark is taken by Platten. Platten on centre wing. Kicks it to half forward. Good pass, and the mark is taken by Morrissey. Plays onto the left foot. Kick by him up towards the half forward position. Kick off the ground, and Somerville marks. What distance did that go? Not the required, I wouldn't have thought, but it's been paid. The mark to Somerville at half back. He plays on quickly and kicks it to centre wing. One-on-one, Ayres. Oh. Well, how do you like those lollies, Gary Ayres?
Is he playing some game? 4 marks and 11 possessions, Gary Ayres. Somerville marks at half back to the Bombers.
Free kick to Hawthorn, I think. Robber being shipped.
Oh, geez, they're very lucky to get that free kick, Robbo. Very lucky. I watched that contest closely, and I don't think Robram even was interested in flying for the mark.
Kicked by Robram. At his disposal, not the best part of his game, is Tony Danaher. Away to Chris, his younger brother. Out to centre wing to Cransberg. It beats Madigan to the ball. And just 2 goals the difference. The Bombers have made some sort of a comeback here. Plain started the game on the bench. Gets away from Langford. Kick off the side of the boot. Put under pressure. And it doesn't go out on the full. In fact, it hasn't gone out at all.
It's a free kick to Plain for pushing the back against Chris Langford as he was taking that kick. And a good decision for the umpire.
Bradley Plain, who was named by the Victorian selectors. There was some tug of war about what his bona fide state of origin was. Tasmanian, Victorian. Another free kick. Advantage played. Comes to McMullen. And a goal to the Bombers. They're within a kick. Oh, he missed it.
Missed.
From 15 metres out, Ian McMullen.
Well, that's a terrible miss there by McMullen, a senior player, only 15 metres out. He just needed to really dribble it along the ground.
Kick in by McGuinness to centre half back. Platten takes a very good mark in the finish. Love to see him back in form. Johnny Platten, kick towards half forward.
Oh,
the free kick has been paid.
Oh, Robertson.
Go to Hudson.
Robertson there throwing his weight around after the decision had been paid.
And Hudson's magnificent pass finds Deere. Gee, there's been some skill shown so far in this game by both sides. Paul Deere, a lovely kick towards full forward. And a great mark. No, has it been paid? Yes, Anthony Danaher. No, you must go back and kick over the man on your mark there, Anthony. And that's exactly what the umpire is asking him to do. And he kicks it wide. Half-back Harvey runs onto it. He's got a little bit of space and kicks it back in towards the centre. Good kick in the finish. And finds Wanganeen. Platten, professional, brings the player to the ground and just holds it up for those precious few seconds. Wanganeen's hand pass goes to Morrish. Morrish's long kick. Half forward. Essendon mark coming up. McMullen, well done. Very well done, Ian McMullen, and maybe you can make up for that miss just a few moments ago.
Skillful use of the body there by McMullen, just nudged his opponent out of position.
And the player just in the picture before we go on to Ian McMullen now is Paul Hills, who played in Essendon's under-19s last week. McMullen's kick is very close, and the goal umpire likes it. So McMullen's first goal is Essendon's 4th, and really in the second half of this first quarter they have outplayed the Hawks to get back to within 5 points.
Well, really there's nothing in the match at all. These two sides are fairly evenly matched when you consider Brereton and Dunstall out of the side, out of the Hawthorn side, and Kevin Sheedy recognising Paul Hudson's danger early in the match has put Mark Harvey down to that half-back line covering him.
16 seconds in the match remaining. Somerville wins. It goes to Dean Anderson of Hawthorn. Robert crashed through. Hurried out of the pack by Anderson. Greg Anderson. Wanganeen to the Bombers. Going defensively. Time's run out for them to get another score. Here comes the siren. The one-hander taken by McMullen. But the Bombers right in this. And who would write them off after last week's performance against the Eagles at Windy Hill when they finished with half a team? only beaten by 7 points.
Well, Billy Brownless has never kicked them from there, has he?
Well, McMullen's gone for a shot for goal. Nothing coming out of that. And that is quarter time here at VFL Park. A 5-point lead to the Hawks. They lead 5-1 to 4 goals to. Umpire Grant Vernon, the West Australian, to get us underway.
So perfect conditions here at Waverley. And we've been very, very much entertained in that first quarter. The advantage has been paid. Robertson runs away from the centre and kicks it wide to half forward, out in front of Plain. Tries to tap it to his own advantage. He's got the football, and he's caught by Langford and should be penalised.
It's too long there with that Bradley Plain. Started the game on the bench, which was rather surprising because he's been in sparkling form, but now playing at full forward on Chris Langford.
The ball finishes with Dean Anderson. He's at half back for Hawthorn. Kicks towards half forward, punched away from Robben by Fox, and it's taken over. The crowd out there, well, a free kick has been picked out of it. Was that on the full, maybe? And Kransberg quickly onto that, takes the free kick, kicks towards half forward. Good mark taken back there by Madigan for the Hawks.
Now playing at centre half back with Chris Mew off the ground with that hamstring injury.
Kicked by Greg Madigan, up short of half forward. Robben has been impressive. Taps backwards to Platt. O'Donnell fumbles. Fox. A hand pass blocked by Tuck. Ball's not coming free of there. The umpire will ball it up. Crowd of about 40,000 at VFL Park. Built up late just before the start of the game. And these two teams who have won 6 of the last 8 premierships, although the Bombers won both of the matches last year by big margins, 62 and 75 points. Kransberg out of defence, wide to centre wing. Bouncing ball, numbers favour the Hawks. Madigan shepherds for Tuck. The veteran, in he goes to Pritchard. Pritchard's pass is good. Robben takes the mark. 75 metres out from goal. Short passes. It was almost a pass to the fullback, and Anthony Danaher took it on his chest. So sometimes Robben's disposal has let him down. It's going to be a Bombers free kick. It's got to come back, and it'll be taken by Bailey. Goes by hand to Izard from half back. Short pass, and the mark is taken here by youngster Hills.
Hills plays on quickly and kicks it wide to half forward, out in front of Plain. Needs a good bounce, and eventually, yes, he gets past Langford. 1 second bounce. Fancies himself, Bradley Plain. The short pass is good, and Watson marks 50 metres from goal.
Did you ever play a game less fit than Tim Watson looks today?
Short pass by Watson, goes back to Plain, and that was very close, Chris.
Just getting back to that drill, I'm sure Robbo did. I saw him playing that Veterans game.
Oh, now leave me out of
Windy
this
Hill.
one, if you don't mind. Let's get back to Bradley Plain. That had to come, didn't it, Bernie? You've been waiting for ages for that.
Timmy looks somewhere between 15 and 20%.
Well, Plain has the football about 40 metres from goal, and he's not bad with these shots at goal. Oh, he kicks into the man and mark. Tries to tap it further afield, and Wanganeen's tackle on Collins is all clear, so we'll have a boundary throw-in, and Bradley Plain disgusted with the field umpire, saying that Langford went over the mark.
I'd still had Tim Watson 15 or 20%. He's taken 3 marks and had 4 kicks just in the forward line.
Bailey tries to get through and just kicks it further into that forward pocket area, so we'll have a throw in the right forward pocket. And Gerard Healy, what's happened to Mark Harvey?
Well, that's the big question. My spies in the crowd told me that he was mysteriously shunted up the race at quarter time, and evidently he was grabbing his chest.
I'll tell you what happened there, Drew. It was when he tried to tackle Langford in that first quarter, when Langford came charging out from defence, and Langford met him with the hip and shoulder as Harvey tried to tackle him, and he looked very sick and sorry for himself after that tackle.
Geez, the bloke has had a lot of appointments with the doctor, hasn't he, Harvey?
Yeah.
Taken by Dean Anderson of Hawthorn. Up over half-back. Kransberg, who he showed courage then, got bowled over for his troubles, and will take a free kick. Peter Kransberg, the spindly West Australian who had such a great debut year last year. Centres this one towards centre half forward. McGuinness is there for Hawthorn, number 20. No mark. Platt and Rhodes. Off to Pritchard. Short pass. That was clever. Allen, bit of trouble here. Anderson beats him to it. Greg Anderson for the Bombers to O'Donnell. Across the ground he goes, looking for Kransberg. Bouncing ball, runs onto it. Chance here for the Bombers. Madden back on the field in the second quarter. Simon Madden, the veteran, went for a bounce, lost it. Got rid of it to Izard, but something happened behind the play. There was a Shepherd illegally off the ball, and it's a Hawthorn free. Going to Dean Anderson.
Anderson just outside 50 metres at Essendon's half-forward area and kicks it towards centre wing, punched away. Morrissey has been well held so far by O'Donnell. Robertson taps it further afield for Essendon. Goes through Anderson, but he's got enough time to recover, and he does it pretty well in the finish. Well done, Dean Anderson. Then kicks Hawthorn up towards half-forward, and another good mark taken by Robran, and he's given Brad Fox something to worry about. Robran's kick in towards the full-forward area, missed by Jarman. Pushed away by Anthony Danaher, but Jarman does well, goes after it again, and kicks it a little bit. Chris Danaher there flicks it back into that crush of players, and eventually the umpire, well, surely that's a situation where you've got to bounce it, isn't it?
Oh, well, he had no chance of getting it. Robran put his body in there to try to make some sort of contest out of it. He was immediately tackled. He had no opportunity whatsoever to get rid of the ball.
Free kick eventually went to Anthony Danaher. His kick marked by Morris. Hand pass to O'Donnell, and a good mark taken by this young fellow who, well, for fear of repeating myself, he's made a meteoric rise in the best with the under-19s last week and now playing in the seniors. This within 7 days. Mark taken by Chris Langford at full-back. Plays on quickly. On his own here is Pritchard. And a lovely kick by Pritchard out in front of Ben Allen. Bounces lovely for him. He eventually gets his kick away, gathers about 15 metres. So does Paul Hudson. Sneaky little kick to Robran. Nice little attempt there by Whitman, but he left it behind. Chris Danaher, good tackle by Allen on Izard. Robran, Hudson, tuck with the left foot. Up towards full forward, the mark is taken back there by Fox.
Away to Kransberg. The two ex-West Australians combining in defence for the Bombers. Kransberg bouncing towards the outer side. Taking plenty of time to set up. Gets a wide lead. Morris dives, can't take the mark. Dean Anderson for Hawthorn has a player up the ground. He taps well to Deer. Anderson gets it back. Great football. Anderson off the right to full forward. Jarman. A couple of goals in the first quarter. Quiet since then. He's got a chance now, Darren Jarman. Had it spent before he got it. Morris. Round the corner, but kicked out of bounds on the full. And a Hawthorn free kick.
Well, that's what happens when the forwards put a bit of pressure on, Drew. The defenders make those mistakes, and eventually good play by Hawthorn to keep it in their forward half.
Steve Lawrence, ex-Queensland star in the Teal Cup. Kicks well inside 50. Robran gets up very high, can't take the mark. Robertson, longer hair than when he used to play for Collingwood. And has he kicked out of bounds on the full? He has.
Yes, well, a couple of mistakes creeping into the Essendon game. The defenders not under a great deal of pressure there, kicking that ball out of bounds. That was Robertson.
Scoreboard has done absolutely nothing in this second quarter. We've had no score. Platten a chance, but the ball goes out of play. So in over 8 minutes of football, nothing's happened.
Johnny Platten in the picture. Brownlow medalist is young Michael Werner, one of the Essendon brigade in the crowd. Robertson tries to get clear. That was nearly a throw. Platten tries to handball it out wider. Robran, skillful, 50 metres from goal. Hooks it to the front of the goals. Back there, Anthony Danaher. Jarman, brilliant football. And Darren Jarman's quick thinking is his second goal and Hawthorn's sixth. And the Hawks lead 6-1 to 4-2.
And the player that has impressed me greatly is Matthew Robran, playing his second senior game. I think his father in the crowd, Barry Robran, the former South Australian star, would be very proud of his son. The way he's playing at centre half forward, giving Fox heaps of problems at centre half back.
Young Robran, 11 possessions already. And the Hawks break the scoring drought at the start of this second quarter. Tapped by Fox. Comes to Anderson. Anderson back into it. Oh, pulled down well. Morris, great tackle. Advantage play. Comes to Greg Anderson. He's left-footed to centre-half forward. McMullen, ex-Collingwood, charges at it. Chips over the top. Great football. The mark taken by Hills, the youngster.
Tell you what, that was a good kick in the finish by McMullen.
It's a clever kick, and Hills put his hand up in the air, made sure that McMullen saw him, made beautiful position with Jenke bearing down on him. And he could have really cleaned him up, I think, there, Jenke.
Well, he put his hand up for the ball and also put his hand up to prove his courage at league level, the youngster in his first game. Paul Hills, an 18-year-old, and he's going for his first goal in league footy, having played last week in the under-19s. Well, he hooked it. A shame. Out of bounds on the full. Bad luck.
Yes, he'd be pretty disappointed with himself, because I'm sure he can kick better than that. The free kick taken back there by Madigan. He kicks it out towards half-back. Nearly the mark to Madden. Underneath it, Wanganeen. And the umpire calls for a bounce on the 50-metre line. Ruckworth, Madden and Lawrence. Lawrence certainly getting a little bit more strength in that body with every game he plays. Ayres kicks the ball away, and Bailey underneath it takes a good mark. Whitman just a little late, and Bailey plays on quickly. Kicks across towards Chris Danaher. He's going to be caught. Gets the hand pass away, but Hawthorn a chance to break it down through Jenke. Jenke's hand pass. Pritchard's well caught by Spawn, and the umpire can do nothing else but bounce the football.
Well, the crowd not happy with that, Robbo, but that is the decision. If a player has no opportunity to get rid of the ball, which he didn't have there, he was tackled immediately, he took possession, the umpire must bounce it.
An effective tackle by Spawn, because Pritchard could do nothing else. Back towards the centre-half forward position. McMullen, a magnificent goal, Ian McMullen. Second goal to McMullen. And all of his Essendon teammates just running from everywhere to congratulate him, because that was a great kick under pressure.
Yes, it was a tremendous goal there by McMullen. As we have a look at this replay, the tap out from Somerville, very good to start off with. You could see the tackle was about to be applied by Hudson, and just fended him off with that right hand, and then continued on and snapped that goal under a fair bit of pressure.
Harvey and Izzard, two premiership players for the Bombers on the bench. And when you consider Terry Danaher, Salmon, Thompson, Walsh not playing, plenty of premiership experience not out there for the Bombers. Out of the middle, that came from Morris. The hand pass comes back from the other newcomer, Hills, but it's come unstuck. Dean Anderson, bouncing ball for Platten. 5 points the difference, the Hawks lead. Platten under some pressure. Poor disposal, bouncing ball for Deere. Hamilton the tackler. Whitman puts the hand pass out. Platten onto it again. Or was that a hand pass? Comes to Tuck. Kick by Tuck. Close. Oh, what about this? What a goal! Michael Tuck. Fantastic. 37 years of age, 411 games. Look at this. Well, it's a throw by Platten.
Yes, well, they'll get away with those a lot in modern-day football. A very quick movement of the hand there by Johnny Platten, but the team lifting goal from the skipper there, Michael Tuck. As I said, 38 next month. He surely must be feeling the pinch.
Well, can he keep playing football, Bernie? I mean, he just, week in, week out, he seems to be able to do something that anybody else finds difficulty in doing.
Well, it's just the length of the season that is the worry with a player of 38.
Anderson now for Essendon to kick them up towards the 50-metre line, and a good mark by McGuinness for Hawthorn, and it's about 50 metres from the Essendon goal. McGuinness on that favoured left foot kicks it wide towards the wing, and Robert just seems to be doing things.
There's a shepherding through.
Well, Robert took the mark. The free kick goes back to Anderson. He plays on quickly, kicks it in towards half forward. Chris Danaher marks, left foot kick out in front. Watson punched away by Jenke, back towards centre half back. Lawrence, Hudson, magnificent. Combination is great by Hawthorn. Platten's pass, and a good mark by Paul Deere in front of Hamilton. Plays on quickly, kick towards half forward, and the mark is taken out here by Ben Allen. He runs away from Anderson, goes for goal and pops it through ever so casually. number 15 for Hawthorn, Ben Allen, kicks the Hawks' 8th goal. They lead by 17 points.
Good thinking there by Allen. The pass wasn't intended for him. The leading player was Jarman. And Paul Deere, who's doing well also on the forward line. Jarman, you can just see the shadow there. He was leading. Anderson not quick enough to cover his opponent. And Allen with the job on him. Anderson played very well last week. Allen playing on the wing on him this week.
John Platten's had a purple patch, and now the leading possession winner on the ground with 14. O'Donnell somehow gets it out of the middle. Ayres quiet this term after a brilliant first quarter. Top kick to half forward. Fox dives, can't mark. The other number 25 is Robert. Feeds out the hand pass. Running onto it, Hudson. Should goal. Didn't quite. 2 goals, 1 to Paul Hudson. And there's Peter, his father, with the grey hair on the right-hand side. Oh, the most freakish goal kicker ever.
Gee, they found a player in Matthew Robram. He's been fantastic playing at centre-half forward.
And, of course, the Saints, who are drawn to play the Bombers next week in what should be the match of the day. So the interested spectators, Kenny Sheldon, the St Kilda coach, and Peter Hudson, one of the real smart men behind St Kilda's climb up the ladder. Oh, good tackle there by Madigan on Chris Danaher, and eventually the Hawks get the free kick. The supporters were screaming. The ball at centre wing, still in a winnable position. Now it's picked up by Lawrence, and the big fella does it pretty well. Left foot kick towards half forward, no mark taken. Getting back is Fox, he leaves it for Bailey. Good shepherd, Paul Deere brought out of it. And the kick by Bailey towards centre wing, and a great mark at the finish taken by Madden. I say a great mark because the ball was going over his head and he couldn't quite get 2 hands to it, dragged it in with the left, and Madden's kick towards half forward. Essendon players not in front. Madigan tidying up, goes back towards the centre wing position, and the mark is taken by Lawrence. Handball to Tuck, and
Shepherding free kick against Chris Whitman there.
Not happy.
They've played some shepherding free kicks, more than I've ever seen.
Probably about 10 so far, I think.
I thought that was good play by Whitman because he didn't really shepherd, but he just got in the way there. And the umpire should recognise the difference between a shepherd and good team play.
Chance for Essendon through McMullen. There's Watson, great play. Let it go, bounce through for a goal. So McMullen's 3rd goal. Hawthorn supporters not happy, but the Hawks, with 10 minutes to go in the first half, they lead by 2 goals. Ian McMullen has now kicked 3.
Yes, McMullen doing well. Started off on the back line. The mark dropped there by McGuinness, playing across the half-back line for Hawthorn. And a wobbly kick off the boot for McMullen. I thought Jenke could have been in position to touch it.
Hawthorn by 12 points. Simon Madden. Lawrence jumps too early. Platten wins it, but can't get away from Izzard. Izzard underneath it. Now Hudson, kick off the ground by Chris Danaher. Picked up by Spawn. Hand pass. McGuinness, Allen. McMullen worries him out of it. Good play. Finishes with Anderson. He can't get through. He gets his left foot to the ball. Half forward. Madigan breaks the Hills tackle. Madigan's hand pass finds Pritchard at half back, and Pritchard kicks the Hawks out of trouble back to the wing. Mark taken by Hudson.
Just growing in confidence, Paul Hudson. That state game for Tassie last year might have done him a world of good. Mark taken by Lawrence, who plays on. One out at full forward, Jarman. Ball comes from Anthony Danaher. The Hawks there in numbers. Deere breaks the tackle, stands in the tackle, off to Tuck. Tuck's kick to the edge of the goal square. Jarman another chance. Couldn't quite get it back to the outside of his foot.
Oh, gee, the opportunity was there a moment earlier to get that hand pass, Paul Deere over the top to Jarman, and he went inboard. It really would have been a golden opportunity for a goal for Hawthorn.
Hawthorn making a change at the other end. McGuinness going back onto Watson, and Jenke going out to a half-back flank. Here's Fox. Kransberg, rather. Hudson, Izzard. Comes back to Izzard. Goes over to O'Donnell. Left footer. Open space. There's nobody there for the Bombers. Jenke might be first there. He does the shepherding eventually. Collins, Wanganeen off the ball. against Wanganeen. Goes to Andy Collins towards the centre of the ground. Greg Anderson chips in. And the umpire pays the mark. He's under some duress.
Good play by Anderson. Hooks that left foot wide to half forward on this member's side. Hills under pressure and eventually kicks it out of bounds on the full. The youngster just a little overzealous there in his attempts to get past the Hawthorn defender. Chris Langford, the free kick taken by Madigan. Madigan, another one of the youngsters for Hawthorn, kicked towards centre wing. Picked up there by Robertson. He's pulled off the football by Hudson. Kick goes back towards the wing. Mark taken by Pritchard. Puts Anderson under pressure. That's Dean. Pritchard under pressure. Now in to help is Morrissey. Oh, great left foot kick by Morrissey. Tuck marks. Terrific player, Michael Tuck. Lovely kick towards the goal square. And a Hawthorn mark taken by Paul Deere. And Anthony Danaher very disappointed with himself there. Paul Deere just floating across the face and takes a good mark.
Yes,
I don't know whether he's underrated, Bernie. I think he's a very, very good player, Paul Deere.
I think he's an excellent player. He's a tremendous competitor. Good to see the direct play there from Michael Tuck.
And Deere makes no mistake. He pops it through for his third goal. So his contribution, well, there's no mistaking that. 3 goals out of 9. And all of a sudden the Hawks lead by 19 points.
Well, he has been named at centre-half forward or on the half-forward flank over the last couple of seasons, but he virtually has done the role of the centre-half forward with Dermott roaming around the forward line.
Now a 19-point lead to the Hawks, and they're starting to get back to where they were in after the first 10 minutes. This comes to Hudson. Away to Platt. Good second quarter for John Platt. Deere again. Top mark. Beating Hamilton. Pointless.
Yes, and the Essendon defender going for the mark instead of the punch. And very dangerous, especially on a day like this. An excellent day for high marking. And the Hawks have got the players on the forward line who are capable of taking the one grabbers.
Maybe too far out for his 4th goal. Kicking from 55 metres. Not a bad effort. Got the distance all right. Missed the accuracy. And Deere has 3 goals too. 3 straight kicks now. 20 points. 3 goals to the lead. Mew on the bench. And Gerard Healy said, we wonder whether we'll see him back. He's out for the Bombers. He drew the man Tuck. Off to Kranzberg. Good pass. Taken by Paul Hills. 18-year-old in his league debut.
I'll tell you what, Gary Ayres pinched about 3 metres then. Now the umpire's coming in to bring him back on the mark.
Hills from North Ballarat. Up towards half forward. Somerville got underneath the ball. Spawn has a chance. He's got numbers with him. Spawn goes for the goal over McGuinness's head. Well, Watson couldn't get back there. Cannot run, Tim Watson. And the ball goes out of play.
He had the opportunity to run into open goal there, didn't he, Robbo? There was no one near him. He could have had the support from McMullen. Bradley Plain preparing to come back on the ground, but he could have really run in and had a pop shot from about 30 metres out.
I think that's what Timmy Watson was doing, actually, looking back to see why he didn't perhaps try and do something a little bit extra. Fortunate kick from Hawthorn finishes with Langford. Langford's lovely long kick out towards the wing, and that's the advantage of a penetrating kick. It found Allen at the back of the pack, and he took the mark.
The other move, Greg Anderson's been moved up to the forward line. Chris Langford now picking him up.
I'll tell you what, Robert must reckon this is his Christmas day. He's having a picnic out there. Kick towards full forward. Good roving by Whitman, and good perception because he's picked out Hudson. And Hudson is well within scoring distance. He's kicked 2.
Well, it might be time for a move at centre half back. I think Fox has had his go on Robram. Robram's been far too good.
And Hudson, as a result of some good play further afield, kicks his 3rd goal. He's pretty happy, Paul Hudson. A little wonder. He goes back to thank Chris Whitman and Alan Joyce. Poker-faced as usual. Hawthorn 10-4, Essendon 6-2. 4.5 minutes left in the 2nd quarter.
Probably the difference between the two sides, I'd say, at the moment, the Hawthorn forward line has the players who are capable of kicking goals, whereas Essendon are really struggling once they get the ball past half forward.
Back in the middle, very handy break now for Hawthorn.
Well, he's done that all day, Drew, too, Lawrence, jumping early.
Free kick then.
Got to jump early against Madden. He's been doing it for 17 years. Spawn knocked over. Comes to Greg Anderson. Did well to get any sort of a kick in there, even though it is out of bounds. No, through for a behind.
Hey, that was a terrific effort, wasn't it?
Oh, sensational.
He's pulled off the ball, got his foot to it, kicked it about 40 metres and still registered a score.
Gary Ayres to kick in. 4 minutes remaining to half-time. Jenke the only chance for Hawthorn. Playing from behind. Jenke recovers well. One of the skills in footy is to keep your footing. Comes to Langford. Centering kick over the head of Morrissey. Wanganeen, the 17-year-old, is there for the Bombers. He short passes for Madden. Chopped off by Collins. Traffic there. Anderson loses it. Bailey tries to paddle forward. The umpire will ball this up.
Well, Wanganeen, I suppose you can be a little critical, but that short pass really had to be accurate. And
yeah, there was players all around.
yeah, it was a difficult one in the finish. 10-4 to 6-3. Essendon have been playing catch-up football. Hawthorn got away to 4 goals to nothing. Here's a chance now for Essendon. Hills taps it clear. Anderson. A little kick. McMullen marks well within scoring distance. McMullen's kick 3. Leading goal scorer for the Bombers. And Essendon really need a goal here. McMullen from 40 metres out. Oh, lovely long kick. Just off to the right. 3 goals, 2 to Ian McMullen. Hawthorn by 4 straight goals. 2.5 minutes left. There's Jenke, a Hawthorn defender, and McGuinness will kick it back into play. Madigan leading wide. McGuinness goes for that player. Good kick too out in front of Greg Madigan, and he takes the mark. Somerville perhaps could have gone a little harder, but Madigan had eyes only for the football, and he kicks it back towards centre wing. 1-on-1, Robran and Fox. Picked up by Spawn. Dispossessed Pritchard. Could be penalised, Spawn, he will. And Hawthorn, advantage? No. It'll have to come back. Morris and Anderson there. And the free kick will go back to Pritchard. Great little goer, Darren Pritchard. Kicks it in towards half-forward flank position. Lawrence leaves it. Morris gathers. Hand passes back. Bailey handball over the top, finds O'Donnell. O'Donnell tucks it under one arm, goes for one bounce. Hard up against the boundary line. Kicks it over all players down around the centre wing position, and goes back. Madigan's back there, and he kicks it in short. Oh, silly play. Finishes up with Robertson. Robertson's kick is a bit ordinary. Gather Watson. Handball wide. Anderson, no space. Chipping in Allen. Tries to flip it back behind him. Dispossessed. Goes after it again. Caught by Plain and dragged down. McGuinness does the shepherd. Collins is there for Hawthorn, and he tidies up. The short pass is good. Pritchard marks and kicks Hawthorn up towards full forward. Oh, getting back there for Essendon, and he's badly hurt, I would suggest. It's Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey. Good courage putting his body in there. The pass intended for Paul Deere.
Gets up quickly. Tough little customer, Dean Bailey. And Paul Deere a little late.
It's very late, and well, the pass wasn't good in the end.
Kick goes wide towards the wing. Spawn Shepherd. Anderson gathers. Little pass. Kransberg running onto it. Takes the mark in front of Tuck.
Just under a minute to go to half-time. Peter Kransberg down to the forward pocket. Madden takes the mark. Plays on away from Jenke. Shoots for goal but misses out of bounds on the foot.
Bad option.
Yes, well, low percentage, wasn't it, Robbo, from that side of the ground, because Tim Watson was making position in front of the goal square.
And what have they got between them? About 600 games of footy, Bernie, and they should have really made a bit more of that.
Well, you can't blame Tim for it, but Simon just saw the goal face and went for it.
Now a chance for Jenke. Loses the ball in the tackle. Spills out the back. Robertson, centering kick. Watson and Plain. Chance here for the Bombers. Bradley Plain an open goal with only seconds to go. Plain gets his first. So something came of nothing, and the margin 18 points.
Yes, Bradley Plain probably been Essendon's most productive forward over the last couple of weeks. Here's a replay. Couldn't take the mark. The Hawthorn defenders caught out of position, and Plain just wandering in and dribbling it over the goal line.
Just 5 seconds remaining to the long break. Platten a little hand pass almost to himself. Hills gets the hand pass away looking for Greg Anderson. That is half-time here at VFL Park. And you'd have to think Essendon still close enough, trailing by 3 goals. But did last week's big effort take too much out of them? At half-time, Hawthorn lead 10-4-64 to Essendon 7-4-46. About to get us underway for the second half. Favours Lawrence, but Madden had a long run at him. Comes to Dean Anderson. Tuck couldn't handle cleanly. Hamilton, hardly seen it all day. Tuck goes in to apply a good tackle. Out of the middle, Whitman. Straight to full forward. Jarman and Danaher. Oh, great gather, Jarman. Going the wrong way. 48 metres out from goal. Pops it up high. Nearly the distance. He had the distance from a standing start, but didn't have the accuracy.
Yes, that's what I was talking about a minute ago, Drew. The players with the class on that forward line, and Jarman's one of those players. A very skillful player indeed.
O'Donnell kicks it back into play, in towards centre-half back. No mark at the back. Anthony Danaher runs onto it beautifully and kicks it equally as beautifully and finds Plain. 2 kicks from goal. Plain's kick, high, wide, very handsome to Hamilton. 55 metres from goal, Paul Hamilton. He's had a very, very tough assignment in that Essendon defence. Hawthorn players running all over the field. The kick in towards centre-half forward, and the mark is taken by McGuinness.
Not a good kick and not a good option, in fact.
Handballs it away to Jenke. Jenke finds Ben Allen. He's run down by Wanganeen, and if in the finish the kick is short, mark is taken by Izzard. Izzard, who has been relatively quiet. Saw him play a scorcher here 2 weeks ago against Carlton.
Ninth possession.
Played pretty well last week against... that's a mark to Plain. A good mark in the finish.
Oh, tremendous mark, wasn't it?
Well, it was like a juggler controlling that ball. Bradley Plain.
One of those marks. Simon Madden in front. He's going up one-handed. And Plain just holding Collins off.
Collins was holding Bradley Plain's left arm, actually.
It could have been the other way.
And Bradley Plain under difficulty. He started on the interchange bench, which was a surprise to all of us, and was called on about halfway through the first quarter. And this is for his second goal. And it looks pretty good from here. 2 goals to Bradley Plain, and Essendon get the first goal of the second half to trail by 13 points.
Yes, it was surprising, Robbo, that he did line up on the interchange, because he'd only played 3 games before today for the season and had kicked 14 goals. So, you know, that sort of goal-kicking potential on the forward line, especially with the depleted side as Essendon have at the moment, you really cannot afford to lose that sort of talent.
Lawrence wins in the middle. Hudson, number 33. High kick. Morrissey comes late to punch to the front. Kick forward by Deere. Anderson, Dean Anderson, kicks out of bounds on the foot.
Well, he just had to pop that one over the top, Drew, because there you could see Dean Anderson apologising to Darren Jarman, who was by himself 15 metres, 20 metres away from an opponent.
Big pack gathers for this one. Wanganeen. Will of the Wisp round the boundary line. He was pushed over as he got rid of that one. Is it a relayed free or out of bounds before he kicked it? It'll come back. So we'll have a throw in. Well, we're all surprised that Plain lined up on the bench, but well, he was a late withdrawal last week, and you'd have to wonder whether he was fit for this game. If he'd been fit, he'd have been in the 18.
Well, he's never been the fittest looking player. He seems to have a little bit of weight around the backside, Robbo.
The point I'd make is that people complain, especially Sheedy, who wants more on the bench, when they only finished with 16 fit players. There's half a chance today they only started with 16 fit players.
Yeah, that's true. The ball now at half forward for Hawthorn, punched away by Fox, Chris Danaher, and it's over for a boundary throw-in about 30 metres around from the Hawthorn goal. Maybe a little closer. Positioning there is Madden. Deer does it pretty well, Paul Deer, obviously giving away quite a few centimetres in height. And the ball over for another boundary throw-in.
How long ago was it? A couple of rounds ago against Sydney Swans when playing kick 9?
Yes, it was a Friday night up there in Sydney. Here's an opportunity now for Whitman. He's pulled down to the ground by Anthony Danaher. Attempted kick off the ground by Anderson. And it's hurried over for a rush behind to Hawthorn. A little bit of excitement there. Anthony Danaher not messing around. Kicks it back into play very quickly and finds his brother Chris. He plays on quickly. Not a bad kick, but the bounce doesn't really favour O'Donnell. Wonderful hand pass. Goes to Hills. Hills to Anderson. Anderson, a lovely kick to Cransberg. He runs onto it. Will it bounce nicely? It does in the finish. He'll have a shot for goal. Cransberg from 40 metres. Kicks a magnificent goal for Essendon. Brilliant football by the Bombers. Hawthorn did not touch it from one end of the ground to the other. And the Bombers get their 9th goal to trail by only 8 points.
We're seeing a lot more run out of the back line from the Essendon players. There's Greg Anderson, the quickest player in the AFL to get the ball from hand to foot. Cleverly out to Cransberg, who is a very skilled player on that left foot from 45 metres out. Magnificent kick for goal.
So the Bombers getting the first 2 goals of the second half. And once again, they make it a contest, perhaps against all the odds. Izard, a quiet day. Cransberg couldn't trap that one. Dean Anderson, Greg Anderson also in the picture. They're the 2 Andersons, 8 and 11. Well, kick very wide, bounces just inside the boundary line for a throw-in. Robrin, who's been superb at centre-half forward against Fox. 2 25s marking each other. Tommy Hudson's going up against Madden. No contest. Naturally, Madden won it. But he kicked it straight to the opposition. Lawrence, the other ruckman, who was about 40 metres from the play, took the mark.
Lawrence is on centre wing. Kicks it towards half forward. Robrin a little late. Morrissey chipping in as Bailey. Handball over the top. O'Donnell tries to get back onto that left foot. Kicks it back in towards the centre. Good mark, Wanganeen. And he's quickly up and away. Handball finds Robertson. Robertson goes to young Hills. Hills gets his right foot to the ball. And Plain fortuitously marks 40 metres from goal. And another good passage of football from the Bombers. Bradley Plain a chance to kick his 3rd goal. Obviously thinks he's a little too far out. So kicks it quickly and kicks it accurately. Well, what a turnaround. Plain has kicked his 3rd, and the Bombers pull to within 2 points. Hawthorn 10-6, Essendon 10-4.
Well, 3 quick goals to Essendon. It's only 7.5 minutes gone in the term. We're starting to get some run. Robertson there getting a hand pass. A very hurried kick there from Hills. He may have been a little bit lucky. Maybe a lot of skill from the young bloke to get that ball to his boot. And Bradley Plain kicks his 3rd goals, 2 in this term.
Essendon fans would have been biting their nails after the first 15 minutes, and they're finding some voice now. Platten out of the middle. Robrin swamped by Fox. Hamilton helps it up the ground for the Bombers. Izard further afield. Wide open now. Madden. Took a while to gather it. Anderson, grab. Langford steals the ball, but the tackle was high, said the umpire.
Oh, I can't believe it. Should have been given 50-metre penalty too.
Yes, Langford not happy with the decision in the first place.
Terrible, Bernie, don't you think?
Yeah, very strange one, Robbo.
Kick by Greg Anderson. Gee, if the Bombers score again here, they can hit the front. Bradley Plain's been great. Oh, great stuff. Goes for goal. It bends back. It's close. Not quite, but they're within a point.
I'll tell you what, Drew, Houdini couldn't have got out of the trouble that Bradley Plain was in there, the way he got out of that. Magnificent stuff.
Yes, ducking and weaving, and what a surge by Essendon at the start of the second half. They've kicked 3 goals, 1 in the first 10 minutes. Length at the target, and with strength, he outmarks Greg Anderson. Half-back flank. Short pass. Looking there for Whitman. Platten comes in to help him out. Gets through. Right foot kick up towards the 50-metre line. It bounces awkwardly. Anthony Danaher. A kick off the ground. Gets the Hawks inside 50. Dean Anderson and Chris Danaher. And a boundary throw-in will take place. 10-6 to 10-5. And Gerard Healy at half-time suggested that it may have been Hawthorn that would have come out and surged. But it's the Bombers who were very sombre, to pinch a couple of words from Gerard. And they've really gone at it with a lot of intestinal fortitude.
One factor could be Essendon haven't lost 2 in a row since the finals in 1989. They lost last week and were applauded off the ground by their fans. And, you know, club pride, the pride in the jumper, means a lot.
It is, and Essendon are doing very well, Drew. We've already mentioned about their injured players.
Deere wins the tap. Tuck couldn't reach it. Comes to Hudson. He's only 35 metres out, but he can't get boot to ball. Izzard out of defence. Whitman marks on the 50. He's got Jarman moving around in the goal square, but he centres the ball, looking for Robrin. Oh, it's chopped out of there beautifully by Morris, and comes down to Hills, who gets it out of defence.
He had nowhere to go, and in the finish it was a good kick.
And the two boys playing their first game in Essendon colours. We talked about team pride. Well, I don't know whether you can inherit that in one day, but they did the job then.
My word, the Bomber fans are pretty excited at the moment. Their players have done very well in the early part of the third term. Oh, Anderson goes down, a rugged tackle by Langford. Play allowed to go on. Platten gets the handball wide. Allen kicks it quickly. Centre forward, Robrin taps it on. Good play. The ball in a winnable position. Streaming out is Anthony Danaher. Attempted kick off the ground. Gathered by Jarman. Left foot kick by that player. Close to the boundary line it goes over. And we'll have a throw in about 40 metres.
Doing very well in defence, Essendon, forcing Hawthorn out wide. They're not getting the ball directly into that forward line, and also Essendon have had the players back there to plug up the gaps.
Fox tries to get it to Morris. Paul Deere bumped off the footy. Tuck bump. Hamilton, good defensive work. Kick off the ground by Fox. Platten dispossessed by Robertson.
That's a free kick. No, free kick in the back.
Well, let's just say Robertson dispossessed unfairly, and Platten takes the free kick 60 metres from goal. Kicks it high into the pocket. Punched away from Paul Deere. Bailey gets back. Whitman does the pushing. And another throw-in will take place about 25 metres around from the Hawthorn goal. There's Somerville and Harvey. Harvey looking as though he won't take much part in this game. Paul Deere. Handball. Whitman. Shot for goal by Whitman is across the face. Out on the full. Free kick back here. Will be taken by Anthony Danaher.
Well, they're starting to feel the pressure a bit, Hawthorn. Whitman had a bit of time to steady. Threw it across his boot. Tried to screw that one around. Could have straightened up and had some time to kick direct at goal.
Must admit, I thought Hawthorn was certainties in the first quarter, but I'm not so sure now. Platten buried, will take the free kick.
Great little player, isn't he, Drew? Johnny Platten.
Yep. His pass up towards the forward pocket. Deere, good mark.
Talking about a great little player in Platten. Here's another bloke on that Hawthorn forward line. Paul Deere, who's had an enormous game. 6 marks, 7 kicks. They've done the ruck work on the forward line. Here's a good lead in front of Fox and a strong mark out in front.
Kick by Deere. Hawthorn looking for their first goal of the second half. He's hooked that for a behind. So at the moment, Hawthorn struggling a bit. Deere's kicked 3 goals, 3.
Well, it looks like Fox is now picking up Paul Deere also. Or he may have just been covering there.
Kick in straight up the ground. Marked by Chris Danaher. Taking it from his brother Anthony. Back to Anthony, keeping it a family game. Probably did that in the backyard a million times. Dean Bailey. Wobbly old kick to half forward, bounces past Plain. Ayres was sensational in the first quarter. Now he's kicked this. If it goes out, it's a great kick. If it doesn't, bit of trouble here for the Hawks. Spawn grabs it. Bangs it back to the goal square. Plain's there. Almost. McGuinness. Oh, desperation. Jenke. The Hawks under pressure. Kicked by Jenke out of defence. Allen drags in a one-hander.
Oh, good mark in the finish by Ben Allen, under a little bit of pressure from Wanganeen. Allen's kicked towards the wing, punched away by O'Donnell from Morrissey, and what a great job he does, Gary O'Donnell. In his tagging role, he picks up a few possessions himself, but he's kept Morrissey down to just 3 kicks.
And 1 handball, so only 4 possessions up to this stage in the third term. Tremendous game by Gary O'Donnell.
Here's a chance for him again. He gets a possession. Robertson taps it further forward. Ayres, tackled by McMullen. Ayres flips it. Robertson handball. Good play, Cransburg. Goes to Plain. Can Plain get another one? Shot for goal. And it's picked up there by McGuinness. Way back there in that back pocket. And McGuinness runs away with the football. And a shot. An absolute shocker. With good pressure by Watson. And a free kick will be taken down here for Essendon by Young Hills.
Well, that just should not happen, should it, Robbo? That play there by McGuinness. He was being forced onto the boundary line by Tim Watson, but really you just need to dribble it along the ground.
Watson bumped off the football, and Plain just favouring his left leg a little. Bradley Plain, and Watson maybe not coming out of that contest all that well.
Well, only 4 kicks and 1 handball also to Tim Watson.
Mark Harvey's back on the ground, and Robertson's gone off for the Bombers. Nugent getting his first run for the Hawks. Whitman off the ground. Here's Harvey into the play. There's a trip. Hawthorn free kick. Nugent just on. Left footer up towards centre wing. Robran tuck front of the pack. Bailey for Essendon. Bombers have thrashed Hawthorn so far in this quarter. Plain. Jenke holding the ball against.
Well, who's he going to penalise? The ball was out.
Cleared Plain by a week. Believe that.
This rule has to be cleaned up. Has to be really sorted out, because there's just some ridiculous decisions. Plain tapped it out, clearly tapped it out, and the umpire paid the free kick. Well, a couple of seconds after the initial confrontation.
Spawn. Harvey. Good mark in front of Collins. 67 to 65. Hawthorn leading by 2 points after they'd led by 3 goals at half-time. Harvey's kick. Watson clearly not fit, but he gets rid of his opponent. Makes a pass for Madden. The hand pass to Watson, but it's intercepted by Madigan. And Hawthorn breathe again.
Madigan out to centre half back. Collins plays on quickly. Hand passes to Nugent. Nugent, who played only half a game last week and had about 20 possessions, has already had 2, and he's only been on the ground about a minute. Robran. Hudson, good mark. Paul Hudson, too tall for Alan Izzard. Hudson plays on quickly. Short pass, not bad. Falling over Paul Deere. Chris Danaher. Tuck. Flips it out. Opportunity for Nugent. He's covered some territory. Mark taken by O'Donnell in the back pocket. Plays on quickly. Ball going from one end to the other. Fairly quickly. Izzard marks at half-back. Plays on. Player on his own. Anderson. A long way away from Langford. Anderson playing, what, at centre-half forward it looks like. And Langford his opponent. Kick towards half-forward. Good mark, Cransburg in front of Madigan.
And was it a 50-metre? No, he's not paying the 50-metre. But Madigan grabbing him before he'd actually taken that second bite at the cherry.
Cransburg, long kick to full forward. Plain off the ground. Can he get to it quickly? Ayres is there. Hills. The ball still in play. Ayres. Good play by Gary Ayres, and he kicks it outside the 50-metre line and bounces over for a boundary throw-in. And Hawthorn under lots of pressure in this third quarter. They have added 3 points. Essendon, on the other hand, have kicked 3-1, and the difference is 2 points in favour of the Hawks.
I'm not talking about a gale here, but there is some sort of a breeze favouring Essendon in this quarter. Here's Nugent again. Kick up towards the centre of the ground. Oh, mark there by Morris. Finds support in Fox. Back to centre half forward. Spawn interferes. Oh, he gets away with it. It comes to McMullen. His left footer puts the Bombers in front. 4 goals to McMullen.
very valuable player today has been Ian McMullen, former Collingwood player, picked up in the draft by Kevin Sheedy. 4 goals 2. At one stage he had half of Essendon's score on the board. He had 3-2 when Essendon had kicked 6-4. And McMullen has been very handy around that forward line.
Well, what a performance by Essendon. Real character, and Kevin Sheedy, you should feel very proud. Lots of players missing through injury. There's Nugent trying to get Hawthorn forward, but Fox is there for Essendon. He kicks it wildly out towards the wing in front of Wanganeen. He's in front of Allen. Fox off the ground. Play goes on. Platten first to the ball. Bailey. Good pressure, Dean Bailey. He's after it again, and eventually he knocks it Essendon's way. Madigan's there for Hawthorn. Handball over the top. Ben Allen and Nugent. Allen's got the clear path. Kicking towards half forward. Punched away from Hudson by Izzard. And O'Donnell takes it over. Hawthorn players looking for a on the full ruling, but the boundary umpire will throw it in. And 55 metres from goal. Izzard. Handball. Bailey misses it. Nugent's got the football. He can't take it with him. He goes in after it again. Tries to get it out to Anderson. Dean Anderson's kick is smothered by Hamilton. Morris, good play. Eventually Essendon will get out. McMullen from half-back. Kicks it back towards centre wing. No mark taken. Anderson. Lovely gather by Greg Anderson. And a very good kick up towards centre-half forward. Plain. No, he's beaten for it this time by Ray Jenke. And Jenke will clear for Hawthorn. The Hawks just can't get a score on the board. They've had enough of the footy, but what can they do? Essendon's pressure is tremendous. Pritchard's kick towards half forward. And great play there by Somerville. No free kick. Chance for Collins. Tries to handball it to himself. And good stuff by Fox. Strong body work by Fox. And he's still there in the contest. But Lawrence comes in for Hawthorn. A wobbly kick by Lawrence. Up into the forward pocket region. Hamilton pulled off. Gear goes to Hudson. Free kick will go to Hamilton. Held when he didn't have the football.
It's been a great quarter of football by Essendon. They've really lifted since half-time. The running players have really come into their own. Hawthorn are finding it difficult to get any easy possessions because of the persistence of the Essendon side. There's a free kick Hamilton grabbed when he didn't have the ball.
4 goals to nothing to the Bombers in this quarter. Mark taken here by Paul Morris. Ex-Richmond playing his first game for the Bombers. Pops over the top to Spawn. Still at half-back flank. Just under 7 minutes to go to three-quarter time. It's been a quarter dominated by Essendon. Kicked by Spawn short of half-forward. Somerville. Well, Watson's making a contest and he's clearing a path for teammates, but Harvey couldn't quite get his kick in. He's down hurt again. It finishes up with Platten. Platten's pass is wide. Chance here for Deer. Keeps his footing well. Dodges. Goal! Beats the first. Can't beat the second. Loses it. Off the ground Spawn. Good gather Platten. Oh, top stuff. Thrown, said the umpire.
Yes, and a good decision for the umpire.
Are you excited?
Give them a bit of praise occasionally, but that was a one-handed throw.
I think this is great stuff.
Oh, it's fantastic, Greg. This is what footy's all about.
Danaher. Tell you what, it beats a 100-point margin, which we get plenty of these days.
Yeah, no, it's great. And these two teams have had real good goes at each other for 8 or 9 years. Harvey's in trouble coming off the ground. Here's Nugent again. Right foot kick by Nugent up towards full forward, but the mark. And Darren Jarman not happy. Mark taken by Anthony Danaher as Harvey for his left leg.
I thought for a moment he could have done his knee there, Robbo, looking at that, but he appears to be... He's in some sort of problem as he comes off the boundary line, but in the hands of the Essendon trainers. Could be an ankle or a groin or a knee, anything there. Looking at that replay, it was pretty hard to tell.
It's like the Jeff Rains across Paul Salmon.
That's true. Oh, great play again by Essendon. Can they get out of this? Hills, Robertson, there were a combination of hand passes. They've got players running everywhere on the forward line, and eventually the kick is a little too high. Anderson, shot for goal by Greg Anderson, just misses to the left. And another good build-up by the Bombers.
Well, they're playing magnificent team football at the moment. Essendon, only 5 minutes remaining in the term. They've kept Hawthorn goalless for the quarter. They've only managed 3 behinds. But the way they've been prepared to share the ball around, run into the forward line, the big ground, and that's what it's all about.
Hawthorn a chance to get clear. McGuinness goes to Langford. Langford's kick is wide. Robran handballs it further afield, hoping that it may have bounced to his advantage. There's Mark Harvey with Essendon doctor Bruce Reid, and let's hope he's okay, because he's had some problems, Mark Harvey.
I think he may be checking out that left knee at the moment there, Robbo.
But he has all of his problems, Bernie, because he does some of those things that, gee whiz, I don't think anybody's prepared to have a go at.
Tremendous courage.
Fox, handball wide, Spawn from half-back gets Essendon out of trouble.
Kick by Spawn, 4.5 minutes to go to three-quarter time. Here's Robertson, ex-Collingwood, playing his first game for the Bombers. No whistle on the play then. Great scoop by Langford. Just inside the boundary line to Dean Anderson. But a good spoil put on by Morris, and the ball out of play. Well, players going down like 9 pins here. And both teams started well below strength, and they'll finish even further below strength. Dean Bailey, number 31. Flicks it across to Wanganeen. Back goes Morrissey. McGuinness. Nugent. He's been prominent since he came on in this third quarter. Ball close to the boundary line. Collins, oh, look at the tackling, but Collins gets clear. Top stuff. In he goes to Morrissey. 6 as a forward last week, and he's back at half-back at the moment.
Shocking kick from Morrissey, went nowhere.
It comes to Hills, the first gamer. Puts it out in front of Robertson. He's 30 metres out. David Robertson over the top with a hand pass. Hills, the first gamer. Kicks a goal. Stuff by the Bombers. They kicked 5 goals to nothing this quarter.
Yes, inspired football by the Bombers. They've been prepared to run and back up. A terrible kick by Morrissey, who's had a very quiet day. He's been tagged by O'Donnell. In fact, Morrissey's been taken from the ground. Only 4 kicks and 2 handballs. And tremendous stuff by Essendon in this third quarter.
And young Hills, 9 kicks and 4 hand passes in a debut game for a boy that played in the under-19s last week. What a great effort. Morris's tackle on Ayres, kicked by Dean Anderson, picked up by Hamilton to O'Donnell. O'Donnell's kick is to the advantage of the youngster, and he's growing in confidence, this boy. Short pass, centre-half forward, mark to Morris.
Think about it, they haven't wasted the ball in this third quarter. They've been prepared to look for each other.
Been a great quarter of footy by Essendon, hasn't it,
magnificent display by the depleted Bomber side.
Morris holding the football up for a fair while, eventually kicks it to full forward, no mark, punched over by Whitman, eventually hurried through for a rush behind by Nugent. So Essendon get another score, and they go on to 12-7. Hawthorn 10-7, and Gerard, Mark Harvey in trouble again.
Yes, good news couldn't be any worse for Bomber fans or Mark Harvey. He's been taken up the race with a suspected tear of his anterior cruciate ligament, and Bruce Reid has told me he won't take any further part in the game.
Well, talking season there, aren't you? That could be anything.
Well,
Harvey.
That's a reconstruction. If that's the problem with Mark Harvey, he's had a dreadful run with injuries.
Just really sad to see a man whose courage really is too great for his own good. This is to Hamilton. 2 minutes remaining to three-quarter time. 5-3 to 3 behinds this quarter for Essendon. Morris, front of the pack, knocks the ball on 20 metres. Madigan. Oh, it comes from McMullen. He's been an absolute star. McMullen straightens and goes bang to an open goal square. Ooh, that didn't miss by a long way.
4 goals, 3 to McMullen, Drew. It's been a great performance by him in that forward line. Started off in the back line, moved up there, and has done particularly well.
Jenke, short kick, finds Dean Anderson. Over the top, the hand pass to McGuinness. McGuinness streaming through half-back. Kicks it to half-forward. Robran. Good defensive work by Fox, but Allen running nicely. Little chip pass. Jarman can't mark. Anthony Danaher, great play by Anthony Danaher. Backed himself, went on with it, and kicks Essendon back towards centre wing. The ball back there will be picked up by Dean Anderson. A minute left in the third quarter. Handball over the top finds Lawrence. Lawrence goes to centre-half forward. This is where the Hawks have broken down. Great Mark Hudson coming from behind. A good grab. He kicks it quickly into the forward line. No mark taken. Ball now. Oh, here's a chance for Paul Deere into an open goal, and he pops it through for a badly needed Hawthorn goal. kick 4. And he is now Hawthorn's leading goal scorer. Paul Hudson has kicked 3.
Well, the last goal Hawthorn kicked was at the 24th minute of the second quarter. We're now at the 29th minute of the third term. And that's how well Essendon have played in this third quarter. They've completely outclassed Hawthorn. And now with only 41 seconds remaining on the clock, a badly needed goal. Paul Deere, 4 goals for him. One of the good Hawthorn forwards.
Margin 7 points in favour of the Bombers. Time left, 40 seconds for the Hawks to get another one, or Essendon perhaps. O'Donnell breaking away. Greg Anderson, he goes long to Plain. Jenky the spoil. Jenky goes to ground. Plain doesn't. Plain could kick another one for the Bombers. He goes from the pocket across the face of goal. Well, he might have hooked it back and looked for a teammate. Instead, it's out of bounds. 15 seconds left.
And Lawrence in trouble behind play there, Drew. After that centre bounce down. I think he may have copped a knee from Simon Madden. He's in a fair bit of strife there, holding that right thigh.
Well, Madden does go up very early and leads with the knees and everything else. Ask Gareth John. Scrap in the forward pocket. Shouldn't be too harsh on Madden. He's at the moment on the bench out of the fray.
Bradley playing there.
And there is the siren for three-quarter time. What a turn by the Bombers. Absolutely superb. 12-8-80 they lead to 11-7-73.
As I said, dominated the quarter.
Last quarter begins at Waverley. Madden over the top, and he's going to receive a free kick. Well, Simon Madden, veteran of over 350 games, kicked towards centre forward. Collins racing after it. Watson there, flips it back. Picked up by McGuinness. Handball over the top. Platten could have nearly gathered it, but elected to punch it further forward. Oh, down goes Bailey. And the tackle was okay. The umpire calls for a bounce. Bailey just getting up a little slowly. Wry smile from the Essendon centre man. Madden, Paul Deere gets the punch away. Izard leads in the race. The bounce is good for the little fellow. He slips over. Handball looked for Hamilton. At the back is Cransberg. He's under pressure. Hudson's little toe poke. Nugent. Hudson dispossessed. Hamilton. Kick smothered off the boot. McGuinness from Watson. Kick by Tucker's good, but it comes now to Bailey. Bailey's hand pass. Finds Anderson. Anderson's short kick. Goes wide. Leading in the race for the ball, Chris Danaher, but Collins gets back to it a little quicker, and the left foot kick by the back pocket player into the centre finds Platten. A kick across his body, goes wide towards the wing. Cransberg can't mark. Nugent, what a terrier he is. Hand pass to Ayres. Hawthorn into attack. Ayres kick, inside 50. Jarman leads, gathers the ball beautifully. Left foot kick by Darren Jarman, a little hungry maybe. And it's out on the full. A free kick to Essendon back there to be taken by Anthony.
No use apologising now, because that pass over the top or hand pass to Morrissey, and that's what Essendon in that third quarter. They were prepared to give the ball out to teammates, and that's what Jarman should have done on that occasion.
That was a disappointing effort from the man who came over with one of the best reputations in Australia. Danaher's kick. Oh, Platten into the back of the pack. No whistle on the play. Nugent, has he had the ball since he came on? He had it out before he got boot to ball. And Robbo, you mentioned he came on last week and in half a game had about 18 kicks. Well, he's doing the same today.
Yep. And if I think Paul Morris looks like Bart Simpson, what about Glenn Nugent?
You've obviously seen the show and read the comic strip. Most of us with half a brain haven't seen it. Izard, little left footer. Dean Anderson from well outside 50 up to full forward. Oh, Anthony Danaher. Danaher's kick wide. And just a little bit too wide, and it beats the first game of Paul Hills over the boundary line. He kicked a goal in Essendon's rush during the third quarter. The youngster who's playing his first game and just 18 years of age. Brereton and Dunstall, don't the Hawks wish they had them out there at the moment?
Yeah, at least one of them anyway. Platten tries to kick it further forward. At the back, Hudson. Ayres is playing further up the field. McGuinness slips over. Good play, Fox. Tuck gathers that awkward ball. Fox goes after him, couldn't quite grab him. Tuck's kick up towards 50 metres. Izzard leaves it for O'Donnell. Goes to Kranzberg. Essendon will go into attack. Kranzberg has got an acre and a half out there on that outer wing. 4 bounces. Up towards half forward now. And he kicks it high. It'll drop in short. Jenky can't mark. He falls over. Somerville there. Taps it clear. Gathered nicely by McGuinness. Handball over the top goes to Tuck. He in turn finds Pritchard. Pritchard, who's had a relatively quiet day. Started off well. Handball to Platten. Platten on centre wing. Kicks it high. And that's Essendon's ploy, has forced those balls to go high in the air to the Hawthorn forward line. Robin goes to Anderson. Anderson into an open goal, and we've got a real contest here. Anderson's first goal for Hawthorn makes the difference 1 point.
Yes, well, Robin's gone out of the game a little bit since that great first half of his, but here he is contesting it there against Danaher and following up, getting a hand pass over the top, and the run of Anderson only from about 20 metres out. That's what Hawthorn do. They must get the run back into their game.
Well, Jarman had the same chance as Robin. Jarman didn't do it. Robin, the youngster, did. Set up a goal for the Hawks. Here's McMullen, who's kicked 4 for the Bombers. Dragged down by Allen. The umpire says you're holding the ball, McMullen. He was bouncing it, trying to regain possession. Advantage played to the Hawks. Comes to McGuinness. Back to half forward. The mark taken by Fox. He's played on Robin today. Fox out wide. Kranzberg lopes after him. Oh, men getting into space on their own. Spawn ducks into a hole about 40 metres in the clear. Has plenty of time. They're queuing up to get the ball. O'Donnell, over the top he comes. Anthony Danaher, a fullback up and half forward. Danaher short pass to Plain.
Well, it's looking very worrying at the moment for Hawthorn, because Essendon, with all the run in their legs, finding spaces out on that half forward line across the centre, have got the players prepared to do the running at the moment. Anthony Danaher running down from the back line. Short passing that to Plain, who's also short passed, a bad one.
And it's come unstuck here, and he was swamped there, Morris. Sure, that was the right option. Plain's kicked 3, and he was kicking from about 50. That was a chance. Ayres, what did he do? Take it out?
And the boundary umpire's 50 metres away.
Boundary umpire was as close to that as we are, and he's called it out of bounds for throw.
I don't think the players were too keen either. They've asked him to go and retrieve the ball himself, which was another 50 metres further up the field.
Gee, lots of hands on hips, aren't they? Tired.
Oh, it's been a great contest. Lots of booing coming from the crowd. I don't quite know what that's for. Watson forced to do the ruck work.
They had a better view than the boundary umpire.
Langford, kick across his body, is touched off the boot.
Yes, it was over the line on the full, but the umpire indicating there that it had been smothered off the boot.
Ruckman, Somerville, Deer. Somerville front position, should get the tap out. No, it's a poor throw in. Gathered there by Anderson. It's Dean Anderson. Kick taken. Now it finishes with Nugent. Goes to Platten. Hawthorn finishing nicely. Platten goes for goal. It may bounce through. It does bounce through. What a goal by Johnny Platten. And this game has had something right from the start. And the Hawks regain the lead, 13-7 to 12-8.
Yeah, one of the great contests this game. Essendon involved in a game like this last week against the West Coast Eagles. And again today, Hawthorn have kicked the only 2 goals in this final term, and starting to run on. Bit of excitement there for Johnny Platten.
So 2 goals at the start of this last quarter to Hawthorn, and they've wrested the lead back from the Bombers. Hudson out of the middle. Can't quite gain possession. Still the Hawks forcing it forward. Now out to the wing. Pritchard a little boot to it. Jarman to Tuck. High kick by Michael Tuck. Wide to the half-forward flank, and it bounces out. Well, I did mention the breeze which sprung up at half-time. Not a hurricane. It would be about a goal breeze, that'd be all. But since half-time, they've kicked 7 goals to 1 at the left-hand end.
You don't think it makes all that much difference as you look at the flags, but when you get out in the middle of the ground, a breeze like that certainly makes a lot of difference when you're kicking against it.
Fox with strength. goes after it again and meets Langford, and Essendon get the football up towards full forward. No mark. Paul Deere, McGuinness round onto the favoured foot, streams clear of half-back, kicks it towards centre-half forward. No mark taken. Ayres is there for Hawthorn. Can he get clear? He's still got it. Lovely handball, Rodron. Rodron from 53 metres. Oh, it just bounced to the left of the goalpost and through for a behind. Well, Matthew Rodron, on my scorecard, that's his first score, and he's had 16 possessions. O'Donnell kicks it back into play for the Bombers. Comes to the members' side. Hamilton bounces nicely, but he fumbled. He goes after it again. Oh, good play by Nugent. Wanganeen in there first.
Robbo, free kick to Hamilton for legging against Allen. No, the free kick was on.
Yep. But he fumbled, Bernie. I just thought in the finish he was maybe a little fortunate.
Consolation prize in the left. Hamilton from half-back flank. Crowd at centre wing. Somerville can't take the mark. Greg Anderson. High kick, no distance. Watson playing up the ground now. He wasn't full forward for the first half. Ayres takes the mark. Brilliant first turn by Gary Ayres, but they haven't been tempted to move him up onto the forward line. Langford's played down the ground. Delivers a good hand pass to the running McGuinness, who's got plenty of space. Eventually, Izard comes at him. McGuinness pumps it long. Fox, good mark.
It was good play by McGuinness to provide the run out of the half-back line, but a poor kick finishing it off, kicking to an open forward line. The players were leading, they were out of position, just kicking back where Fox could just wander back and take the mark.
Hawthorn lead a low-scoring game by 6 points. Fox is kicked out of bounds on the full. Hawthorn free kick to be taken by Madigan. 16 and a half minutes to go.
They're the mistakes you don't need at this stage of the game.
No, it was a bad one by Fox. The kick by Madigan. He may make him pay. Pritchard from outside 50 goes with the torpedo punt up to the goal front. Punched away by Morris. Close to the line. Nugent goes after it. The game is not over until that ball goes over the line. Nugent's kick. Brought back by Bailey. Nearly run down by Tuck. Bailey's kick back in towards the centre. Gathered by Hills. Hand pass astray. Madden. Well, it could have nearly been deemed a throw. He lifted the ball. Pritchard brilliantly caught by Somerville. Allen brilliantly caught by Morris. Have a look at those blokes having a real go at it. And he's not happy with Peter Somerville. And the boys having a little chat as umpire Grant Vernon calls for a bounce.
Some enormous tackling there by both sides being applied. I realise the situation is desperate at the moment. The side with the most desperation will win this match.
Tap out by Madden. Gather by Whitman. High kick by that player into the right forward pocket. Morrissey goes after it. Kicks it nearly back into play, but it may have been over before he actually made contact with the football. So the boundary throw in about 25 metres around from the Hawthorn goal. The Hawks lead by 6 points, 13-8 to 12-8.
Fantastic game of football. And Essendon have had a real knock-em-down, shoot-em-out match for the last 2 weeks in a row. Patton can't get it out of there. There'll be a ball up. Well, the Bombers unbeaten until last week. They haven't lost 2 in a row since the finals in 1989. They're trying to protect that record here today. And it was a withering third quarter, and they kicked 5 goals to 1 to build up a lead at the last change. But now Hawthorn have the lead by 6 points. Still anyone's game with under 15 minutes to go. Madigan comes back to Nugent. Spent the first half on the bench. Morrissey can't mark, but at the back, Rodron takes the mark.
Well, Morrissey just misjudging that and leading O'Donnell under the ball, allowing Rodron to take the easy mark. But O'Donnell doing his job, sticking close to the player he's tagged out of the match all day, Morrissey.
Very impressive. Matthew Rodron going for his first goal today from 40 metres. Yes! Gee, when these two teams play, they really mean it. You can see it in the fans' faces. 14-8 to 12 goals.
Well, they shouldn't be celebrating yet, the Hawthorn supporters, because there's plenty of time left for Essendon to get back into this match. Rodron, who's been an excellent player, 11 kicks, 6 handballs, 7 marks, good stats, playing in the tough position of centre-half forward.
Halfway through the last quarter, And Hawthorn lead by 2 goals. So Essendon really will have to pull something out of the bag if they're going to get out of this match. Hamilton well tackled by Ayres. Tuck picks up the crumbs and kicks Hawthorn up towards half forward. Coming out in front is Morrissey. Gathers it nicely. Handball off to Allen. Little chip pass. Finds Robran. And Robran is just outside 50 metres. Wonderful cut of a boy. Look at this kick, will you? Torpedo punt to the goal front. Platt! He's kicked the goal. No, he hasn't. Tell you what, everybody looked pretty well, wasn't it? Well, has to have gone, what, 55 metres. Sheedy looking a little concerned. What can he pull out of that bag of tricks? Danaher kicks it towards this members' half-back flank area. Somerville can't mark. Gathered by Chris Danaher. Hand pass to Wanganeen. Wanganeen's pass is a little ordinary. Plain may run onto it. Leaves it behind. Tries to get the hand pass to McMullen. McMullen still in the contest. Great play, Ian McMullen. 1 on about 4. He's still got the football forward for Essendon, but eventually it's picked up there by Pritchard. He goes to Allen. Allen's left foot kick is pretty good. And the mark is taken by Robran at half forward. Handball, play on football. Allen goes long. What's going to happen back there? The ball bounces clearly. Morris is there, and he hurries it through, does he? Yes, he does, only just. For another behind of the Hawks. And it's an important one, because it just gives them that little bit of breathing space. Besides the 2 goals, they also have 2 behinds. O'Donnell to bring it back.
Robran having an enormous last quarter for the Hawks. O'Donnell out of defence. Big climb and a mark by Fox. Suspended earlier in the season, and he's lifted his stocks in the last couple of weeks. Greg Anderson off the ground. Nothing in this. 14 points the Hawks lead, but you wouldn't write off Essendon yet. Watson cleared a path for Hamilton. Hamilton from 40 metres. Nobody back there. He missed it.
Good play there by Timmy Watson, Drew, to tap that one on. He was under pressure there by Andy Collins, who's playing on him at the moment. He realised that and just went for the tap onto Hamilton.
Paul Hamilton got a little flustered there, I'd suggest, Drew. He's only kicked 6 goals in his 102-game league career. And that one, gee, it would have made the game interesting if he'd have kicked it. Hawthorn get it back towards centre wing. Punched away by Hamilton from Tuck, but Nugent doing well. Left foot kick back in towards full forward. Oh, nearly a mark to Morrissey. It's broken down. Chris Danaher. Morris at centre half back. Runs across the field. He's going to have to hook the kick, but he kicks it long. And eventually it is picked off by Collins. Handball to McGuinness. He's had plenty of run from half back. He might have to bounce it again. Gee, ran a distance. Kick by McGuinness up to full forward. Punched away from Platten by Izard. Platten still got the football.
Gee, Platten was dragged by the arm there, Robbo.
Morris under pressure. Nearly dispossessed by Dean Anderson. Chris Danaher looking a little weary. Nearly run down by Morrissey, but he kicks it over for a boundary throw-in about 35 metres further down the field from the Hawthorn goal.
Well, you can hear the crowd going crook about that decision, because Platten had 1 bite at the ball. Let's have a look at that again. Being held there by the arm from Izard. There it is, and there he drags him, and that was definitely a free kick in front of goal to Platten.
Here he goes again, Platt. Tuck comes backwards. Hudson keeps it in low, just outside the 50. Allen couldn't grab it. Nugent, gee, he'll get a game next week. Off to Jarman. Bouncing ball, Morrissey there with O'Donnell. And O'Donnell escorts it over the line. And what he's done in the last couple of weeks, young Glenn Nugent will certainly get another game. Playing just his 2nd game this season, 6th in his career from Mentone Grammar. I like the look of him. Hawthorn another chance. Spawn grabbed by Pritchard. Pritchard again. Look at the desperation by players on both teams. Ayres gets it out. Nobody's getting an easy touch here. Nugent last up. Whew.
Just a couple of times Morris has been in those contests and shown a bit of desperation too for a player of very little experience. Lawrence recovered on the boundary line, looking to get another run. Madden gets the tap out. Hudson, kick across his body. Nugent, from out of nowhere. Izard, that hasn't gone far enough, and he kicks it close to the boundary line. It won't go out. Still close to the line, Wanganeen takes it over. And just inside 50 metres, we'll have another boundary throw in. And 9.5 minutes left. Well, Bernie, would you like to be on the Bombers?
No, I wouldn't, Robbo. No, I'd certainly like to be on Hawthorn at the moment. All the runs seem to be going with them. They've found a new lease of life after three-quarter time. And Johnny Platten, who's played a pretty good game, getting a free kick.
Is that a reward for the earlier one, maybe?
Well, let's have a look at the replay of that. I'm not sure whether that was a free kick or not. That was very ticky-touch with that free kick for Johnny Platten.
Might have been squaring off for the other one. Platten goes for goal. Close to the line. It's helped over for a behind to Hawthorn. Jay Platten played a pretty good game. 22 kicks and 5 hand passes. And kicked a fantastic goal.
Morrissey off the ground again. He's been replaced by Steve Lawrence.
Morrissey last week kicked 6 goals, and today just 7 possessions. Been benched a couple of times.
There's the man who's done the damage too. Gary O'Donnell just tagged him right out of the game.
Paul Hills, an impressive debut. Played in the under-19s last week. Seniors today. He burned off Whitman. Centering kick. Chance for the Bombers. Oh, but Greg Anderson went to ground. And eventually a free kick to Hawthorn. McGuinness grabbed when he didn't have it.
I'm convinced, Drew, if you throw your arm up there at the right time, you have a much better chance of getting a free kick.
McMullen, he's got the cramp. He's kicked 4 goals today. The ex-Collingwood player. 4-3, in fact, for the Bombers. Short pass. Allen takes the mark.
He'd have to be the most improved player in league football, Ben Allen.
Well, he's had a great season. Came over from Perth with big raps and took a fair while to settle in at Glenferrie. Chris Danaher, balks. Don't write off these Bombers just yet. Danaher from half-back flank. Watson makes a contest. Kicks it in. Reckon that's his first touch for the second half. Into Hills. A centering kick is good. The mark to Greg Anderson. Across the ground. It's wide open here. Hamilton. Well, he's kicked few goals as we had a look at last time. Can he kick one here? He doesn't go for it. The pass misses playing. It comes to Fox on the forward line. Over his shoulder. He's kicked it. He's played centre-half back all day, goes to the forward line and kicks the Bombers in it.
Gee, he's very lucky he kicked that too, Drew, because a player by himself in the goal square. Hamilton nearly messed this up. Not a lot of skill on his left foot. You know, 2 players there, missed both of them. There's Fox. He just could have popped that over, as you can see. McMullen by himself in the goal square. He looked fairly disgusted.
The last goal kicker, Brad Fox. And what a terrific finish. 8 points the difference. Hawthorn's favour. Madden early on Deer. But Ayres will take it away for Hawthorn. Left foot kick up towards the 50-metre line. Kransberg, great play, backed himself. Right foot kick close to the line. It's over on the full. Bad luck. Kransberg looking to give it to Anderson. That's Greg Anderson. And of course, the man with the football now is Dean Anderson. 50-gamer for Hawthorn. Up towards half forward. Punched away by Kransberg. Platten goes after it. So does Izard. The umpire will call for a bounce. Precious seconds ticking away. Under 7 minutes left. And the Hawks lead by 8 points. Madden getting ready. Likes to jump early. Does so again. Gets the tap out. Hamilton pulled. Morris just gets his hand to the ball and pushes it over for a boundary throw. 14-11 to 13-9. And it's been a terrific contest all the way through. Paul Deer, Madden. Madden gets it out the back. Anderson, that's Greg, can't pick it up. Nugent's in there again. Ferrets his way through the pack and eventually pushes it about 4 or 5 metres towards his own goal, and he gets some applause from his devout fans here at Waverley. Youngster, playing only, what's his 2nd game? Hills after the football, desperate stuff. Hamilton dispossessed, has the football underneath him. Hills on Paul Deer. Gary Ayres caught, taps it close to the line. Platten goes with it, takes it over O'Donnell. Gee, they're desperate. And these guys have really had a go at it from the start of the game. So the fitness is going to tell in the last 6 minutes.
That's right, they might complain about all the pre-season work in January, but going to start telling now. Ayres off the ground by Hamilton. Allen bumped over the line by Wanganeen. The umpire says throw it in. 95 plays 87. 8 points the difference. Hawthorn leading. 5 1/4 minutes to go in the game. What a beauty it's been. Somerville wins a good tap. Plain started on the bench, surprisingly. Nugent, 13 possessions, and he didn't come on till the third quarter. Hudson whips out the hand pass. Platten short pass is good. Robert.
Brilliant skill shown there by the Hawks there, Drew. Both Hudson and Platten.
Kicked by Robin from 50. Right to the goal square. Oh, it hits the post.
He looked a little excited, the youngster, didn't he, Matthew Robin, then with that kick. I think from behind it must have looked the goods. Just in the last second, swinging away and hitting the post. Anthony Danaher, undecided. Now goes to the outer side. Looks out there for Somerville. Tries to tap it on. It works. No, it doesn't. Danaher's hand pass intercepted by Jarman. Ball rebounds to Tuck. And Tuck kicks it out.
Well, he's had a quiet day, Tucky. Only 8 kicks and 6 handballs, but there the experience showing through. Not worrying about doing anything fancy. A defensive play, the best option at this stage of the game.
Madden in front. Gets the tap out. No one home. Nugent after it again. Well done, Bailey. Ball comes to Ayres. Ayres kick. Right up close to the goals. What's it done? It's hit the post again. Gee, this has been a bit stiff then, Hawthorn, in the last couple of forays up forward. 2 posters, under 4 minutes left.
2 goals can win it for the Bombers. Jarman flies. Is that a mark? No. Didn't get first touch, said the umpire. Well, he's got to be holding it, and is.
It's a bit stiff. I thought that mark could have been paid here, Drew.
Bombers go on with it quickly. The hand pass out to O'Donnell. At full stretch. Fox can't drag in the mark. It wasn't Fox, it was Hills. Now it's Fox, number 25. He can't keep it in. And Hawthorn are happy to see this ball out of bounds and bring the boundary umpire into play. They have the score on the board. 97 to 87. 3 minutes 20 remaining in the game. The Bombers need 2 goals. Pritchard smothered off his boot. And we'll have another throw-in.
I wouldn't be too unhappy about the ball being out of bounds either at this stage of the game, Hawthorn. 3 minutes and 5 seconds remaining on the clock.
The Hawks kicked the first 4 goals of the game. Looked as though they'd murder Essendon, but the Bombers came back. Then Hawthorn still led by 18 points at half-time. Great third quarter, and Essendon got back in it. In fact, led by 7 at the last change, but Hawthorn have dominated the last quarter and kicked 3 goals to 1. 3-5 to 1-1 in this last term. Pritchard, high tackle, free kick.
Gee, this has been a tremendous contest. Both sides have given 100% right from the word go. And they haven't eased up, have they? Right.
Only 27 goals too, Bernie. I think that it always keeps it interesting, doesn't it, when the scores are reasonably low?
Yeah, sure does.
Means that all players have been very, very committed. Izzard's kick is marked by Nugent. He plays on. He's pretty fit. Mind you, he's only played half a game. He's kicked the goal. He certainly kicked the goal, Nugent. Glenn Nugent, number 21 for Hawthorn, has sealed the result. Hawthorn 15-13, 103. The Bombers 13-9, 8-7.
Yeah, the Hawthorn supporters can celebrate now because it is all over. Great performance by the Bombers to persist, and that's what they did in that third term. But Nugent, who came on and has been an excellent performer for the Hawks.
Well, last week Nugent only played half a game and had 18 possessions. This week half a game, 14 possessions and the winning goal.
Amazing. He's a busy little beaver, isn't he? Like, he's always doing something, running, chasing, harassing, pushing the ball forward. A few players just temperaments being tested. Maybe the Bombers, they've given it everything. And here's the man of the match, Johnny Platten, coming off the ground, being replaced by Morrissey. Ball in the centre. Kick towards half forward for Essendon. Kick off the ground by Plain. Goes up to close to the 10-metre square. Collins under pressure. Handball's wide. He's dumped.
Yeah,
Play goes on. No,
free kick against Plain. Rather undisciplined there from Bradley Plain.
And it'll go to Andrew Collins, the Hawthorn back pocket player. He's going across. Can you do that? Oh.
I thought you had a kick over your mark from there.
Times it's been pulled back. Tuck. In towards centre forward Anderson. That's Greg. But Jenkins stands his ground and takes a good mark. And Greg Anderson, be careful. obviously didn't think it was a mark. And Jenky has the ball at half-back.
I don't think he's too happy about Jenky fending him off with the feet, Robbo.
Right, kick to centre wing, punched away there by Cransberg close to the boundary line. We'll have a throw in, half-forward flank on this member's side in favour of the Bombers.
Platten off the ground. Jared Healy.
Yeah, a bit of a worry for Hawthorn. John Platten was escorted off the ground by the physio and he began testing his medial ligament. I don't think it's too bad, but certainly a worry.
Oh, gee, hit the emergency umpire out. Having a look at this between Spawn and Gary Ayres.
Boundary throw-in. 16-point lead to the Hawks. What a courageous victory. The ball back out of play. When you consider they're without premiership players, Abbott, Brereton, Condon, Greg Deere, Dippia Domenico, Dunstall, Hall, Kennedy and Schwab, that's nearly a league side. That's a premiership side not playing.
Yeah, but don't forget about Essendon too, Drew, because you could just about throw that throw those sort of names around also.
And there's the siren. Courage personified by Hawthorn. A top game of football between these traditional rivals. The Hawks have won it by 16 points. And don't they look happy? I think if they'd lost today, they might have been losing touch with the top six. But they're in it. A couple of youngsters combined with some veterans to get the points today for the Hawks. Disappointment for the Bombers.
That's an indication, Drew. They're very, very pleased with themselves because those guys, I think, are aware, very aware of what you mentioned just before the siren. But they're minus a lot of players. The same thing would have happened if Essendon had been able to sneak the victory. But what a tremendous effort by a bunch of guys thrown out there under a lot of duress to come out on top and win the game eventually by 16 points.